creative friends, it's Gwen with you back today for another scrapbooking video. Today's a little bit different though, because today I wanted to do a quick chat about the glue that I use on my projects, and also about this one. It's a new glue, well, newish to me, called Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive. So we'll get to that one in a moment. So for my cut files, and in fact all of my scrapbooking, so even things like chipboard and stickers and sequins and things, I use the Scotch Quick Dry Tacky glue. So it comes like this in this bottle here, but the tip for this bottle is, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see that, is quite thick. Like, it's not a very fine tip. So I transfer this glue into the fine liner applicator. So that's what they look like there. And I hope you can see that tip there. We'll see. Yeah, so this one, the fine liner bottles come in two sizes. Oh, didn't want to go on, did it? There is a blue packet as well as this yellow packet. So you'll definitely want to grab the yellow, because the gauge, so how thin the tip is this, the yellow bottle's best for the Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive. So make sure you get the right bottles. And I love this glue. I've been using this glue, yeah, for like 10 years. It's really, really great. But my friend Tara, who I know will watch at some point, so hi Tara, she's on the Cocoa Vanilla design team with me, and we were away at retreat, a good year ago, I think, and she has been raving about this glue. If ever there's a comment on Facebook, or if anyone asks a question about, what glue should I get? Tara is always the first to go, you must get the Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive, to the point where we have been joking with her and saying, have you got an affiliate link? Because yeah, she's a big fan of the Nuvo. So anyway, she's worn me down, and I thought, why not? I had to buy, finally, after years and years and years, and I'm talking maybe 8, my bottle, my fine liner bottle finally gave way, and I had to buy a new packet. And I thought I'll also top up with my quick dry. And then I thought, you know what, Tara, you've worn me down. I will grab a bottle of the Nuvo Deluxe. And what I thought I might do is scrapbook for the next month or so, and use both and mix and match, and just, you know, have a little play. And then I can come back and give you a bit of a review. So of my opinion, what I think, and we'll go from there, with the disclaimer that this one is definitely my favorite, and I have been using it for a very, very long time. So we'll see how this one holds up. The first thing I did want to say though, before we get into, before we time travel into the future and I can give you my review on the glue, I did want to go through the prices, because I had forgotten. The Scotch Quick Dry Tacky, I got my prices from Craft Online. So that's where I got this from. So that's the prices that I used. So the Scotch, I paid $10.99 Aussie dollars for, which isn't too bad. And the Nuvo Deluxe is $9.95. So that's pretty comparable. I think they're the same, 59 mil, and I think this one was 60 mil. Yeah, so they're, you know, pretty much the same. And there's a $1 difference. But, oh my goodness, I had totally forgotten how expensive the fine liner applicators are. I nearly died. $17.99 for 2 bottles. So yeah, that's a fair bit for something that comes in a bottle that you have to put into another bottle. But I do love it. It is the best, and it has lasted, and I think I would say that I use mine a lot. Like, I scrapbook almost every day, so I do use it a lot, and it has lasted a long time. But yeah, $18 for a storage container, that's very small. So yeah, so that's going to be definitely a factor. So price, if we're just looking at price, Nuvo Deluxe hands down, I think. And then yeah, so we'll go, I'll go fast forward into the future, and I'll have a play, and then we might have a talk about, yeah, like how it comes out of the bottle, how well it sticks, maybe shine, whether it's any good with, like sometimes you get like a little bit of glue oozing out from underneath an embellishment. Is it super shiny? Those kinds of things. So I will be back and I'll let you know how that goes. So see you then. Hey creative friends, it's Future Gwen and I'm back. I have been working, it's been about a month. I've been working on lots of layouts and mixing and matching the glues in my process. And I've gotten a really good feel for the Nuvo. Yeah, so the first thing I want to mention is the Nuvo is definitely a little bit thicker than the tacky glue. And at first I wasn't sure about that, but I actually like it. The reason I like it is because I think it's easier to manage. So when you're working on a layout, say like this one, where you've got these very thin edges, so you're backing, when I'm backing this cut file, the fact that it's thicker, when you stick the pages together, so when you press the pages together, a more liquidy kind of glue is more likely to ooze out, and it's runnier. So it's going to ooze out far more easily than a glue that's a little bit thicker and it's a little bit firmer. So I just found that when I pressed the paper together, it didn't really kind of spread out very much, which is actually a good thing. Yeah, so I really, really like that. And I think that if you're looking for a really clean result and you might be struggling with that a little bit, this could be a really good way to help that. Because I think I'm pretty diligent and I'm very particular about it, and I just found that this was a little bit easier to manage. The next thing is this nozzle is actually so much more easily kept clean. So this one, if you have to be really, really diligent about putting it back on every single time. So you do a bit of gluing and then you got to put it back on. And sometimes, like now, that takes a little minute because, you know, you've got to line it up. And if you're doing that over and over and over, I can see why people would not bother. Would be just like, oh, too hard. Leave it out as they're working. And because this is such a fine tip, it can clog really easily and really quickly. So I think that this glue, I found I don't need to replace the cap every single time. Like I could leave that out like that, work with it. Like obviously you wouldn't want to leave it out overnight. But yeah, I just found that in general, I could leave it like that, do my work, and even though too, even if I was putting the lid on a lot more, that takes a lot less time than trying to line up the quick dry bottle. Well, the fine liner bottle. So I guess you could use it out of this bottle, but the tip is way too big, way too big. Yes, so there's that. The other thing that I noticed, which is quite interesting, and then I went looking and I went, well, it does actually just say bonds paper to paper. So this to me seems like it's made just for paper, whereas this one is a craft glue. So I found that it's stronger. The one layout, yeah, it was this one. This was the layout that kind of made that a bit clear, in that I used the Scotch to adhere this chipboard title to my stitched border here. And because the stitching's there, it's not exactly flat. So there's a little bit of wiggle when you're gluing. And I positioned it and then kept working on something else, and it actually fell off. So then I was like, okay. And then I reapplied it, I re-added it with the Nuvo, and it stuck, you know, super, super well. So yeah, definitely stronger. I also notice it in, with fabric. So I do use a lot of fabric on my pages. These ones are little fabric on the back. Obviously bows. Yeah, so all of these pieces here, they're fabric. So I do use a lot of fabric on my pages, and I found that the Scotch doesn't actually do a very good job of that. And I had been using instead this one, Express It Clear Glue. So I've been using that on fabric, but now I'm just going to use Nuvo for everything, for all that. So yeah, so yeah, so definitely noticed it on fabric and on my edges where I am adding. You know, quite often I'll put something over the edge of a photo. That's pretty normal for me. And all my photos have stitching. So that was definitely a big plus. The shine, I've noticed that there is no shine. So even when you do see little bits of glue coming out, like from time to time, there might be something. no shine. So in terms of that, I think this does a better job than the Scotch. And actually, so the only negative I would say is actually to do with the nozzle, in that you would see I often like position things and then try and lift it up and put glue in underneath. Well, because of the design of this bottle, sometimes it was a bit tricky to do that, because this one, if you see, this one's a lot, the nozzle part's a lot longer. Hope you can see that. It's a lot longer, but also the bottle is more tapered. So if I was to put like where the bottle actually starts next to where the bottle starts, I've got so much more wiggle room. Oh, I don't want to put any glue on my layout. So much more wiggle room to pop things up and under. See how easily I can get under there, whereas this, it's not as easy. So, which is not that big a deal with bigger embellishments, but yeah, I found it a little bit tricky with smaller embellishments. So yeah, that's probably the one thing that if I could change anything about the Nuvo, it would be just that if that nozzle could just be a little bit larger, longer, and maybe if the top of the bottle could be a little bit more tapered, I think it would actually be perfection then. Yeah, so so verdict, I actually really love it. I really love it. And I think what will end up happening, I'll keep using both for now, but I think what will end up happening is eventually these bottles will break, eventually. And I think I'll go back on and go, oh my goodness, I'm not paying whatever it was, $15, $18 for a couple of bottles, and I will just switch straight to the Nuvo, because yeah, it's really, really good. So if you're just starting, or if you haven't already, you know, made this investment, I would definitely not do this, and I would just go with the Nuvo, which is really surprising, because before I started this video, I thought that I would be like all over the tacky glue and just be, yeah, I thought I would just be like, yeah, this is actually the best, keep using this. But yeah, I definitely would recommend the Nuvo. So there you go, that's it. Thank you so much for popping by today and spending some time with me. I will see you all in the next video. Oh, if you've got any comments or questions, leave them below and I'll do my best to answer. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.